I have here a nice and brand new high-speed steel tool blank, and I would like to turn it in a useful cutting tool. Normally, when I make new cutting tools, I rough them out on the belt sander and then finish them on the bench grinder. The problem is I have very shaky hands because of all these medications I have to take the last couple of months. And sometimes I have these uncontrolled movements. And it's really dangerous when working on a bench grinder or even on the belt sander. So one time I almost had an accident, and I don't want to kill myself just to make a cutting tool. First I thought I'm gonna use this little bench grinder. I took it all apart and put all these pieces in a cardboard box. It's now collecting dust. Using this one so I can make some kind of fixture that can move, and I can tilt my tool in every direction I want. But I think that's gonna be too complicated, and I don't like to complicate things more than strictly necessary. That's why I'm single. Wait, did I just say that? So I thought maybe I can make it in the lathe. If I put my tool blank in the forejaw, it will be easy to center. I can change the angle of the tool in whatever angle I want, and then use the angle grinder. Now, of course, the angle grinder must be that way, but the problem is I'm at the end. This total course cannot go further. So, to be good, I should make a new attachment thing here to put it on the other side. I cannot flip the angle grinder around in the other direction, otherwise all the sparks will go up, and I want them to go down. I put a container with water here below, and most of the grinding dust will be in the water and not in the rest of my workshop. So, to be good, this fixture thing, I'm gonna take it off, of course, and make a new one that comes the other side. I looked around here and I find some scrap things. One I can mount here somewhere, but of course it's too short, so I'm gonna weld some pieces on and then drill these holes in here for the bolts. And then maybe you remember the ugly thing I used to make the hammer. I'm gonna cut a piece off, weld it on this side, so I can fix it in the tool post. That's a bit the idea. shaky hands, shaky welds. I think I did something a little bit stupid. This block, I welded it on. That was not a good idea, because now, because of this weld, it doesn't sit like it has to in the tool holder. It's in a bit of an angle. When I put it in place and I push completely down, it leaves a bit of a gap right here. So it doesn't sit really flush in the tool holder. And I tried to fix it a bit by grinding these welds off, but of course you cannot go completely in the corner. So I think I'm gonna finish this corner off in the shaper. If I put my part like this in this vise and I tie it a bit too much, I'm surely gonna squeeze this material, so that's not a good idea. So after looking around a bit, I found myself the ideal pieces of scrap to fill in this gap inside here. Right, I think that should work. That looks much better. No more gap here. A little bit up here, but that's not a problem. These iron profiles, it would be quite a challenge to find one that's really square. You buy these brand new, they're never square. Hard to believe, but it is even square, so that's a good thing. Now, putting the machine square to the chuck will not be too complicated. I take a smaller square, of course, square it up, and then with the compound I can choose whatever angle I want. I can read here the angle I set it. So if I want to make a 60-degree angle, I set it here at 30, make a cut, 30 the other side. If it wants to make a cut, I have perfectly 60 degrees over here. Now, to indicate the chuck, I'm gonna lose it. To indicate the chuck, there is a little bit of a problem, but of course I already thought of a solution. I printed out this paper here, 360 degrees, and my idea, if it works, is to mark the degrees here on the flange. This is a nice little sitting down job, because it takes lots of patience. First, set the degrees, take a cut until we touch the carriage stop, back it out, come back to 0, dial in again, 0 point here, 10 degrees, cut. I suppose we can call this hand machining. I'm not sure the spindle bearing is very happy with this treatment, but I always say you cannot make omelette without breaking eggs. I saw other YouTube creators do this with great success and I thought, let's give it a go, and here's the result. Okay, now I need a pointer, and my idea was to use my indicator stand. Of course, not with the indicator, make a little point. There's one little problem. This lid on the lathe is not magnetic. Not magnetic. I suppose it's aluminium or something. But of course, I found a solution. I'm gonna cut this ugly thing and bolt it here in the corner with a beautiful little screw here, countersunk, and then I can put my indicator stand right here. I have a little piece of brass here to make the pointer. I'm gonna turn it down to 8 millimeters. Let's see if it works. Yes. These are the most crappy little metal saws you can find. See if I can find another blade. Yes. Fail. You just saw me making this pointer, but I'm not really happy with the design. It's very difficult to center these two circles, and if you have the illusion that the wire in the middle is not really centered, that's because it really isn't centered. So I came up with another design which I think will work better. The plan is to make a a round nose tool with a 60-degree point on it. That's not 60-degree, but I suppose you've got the point. Combined angle 60-degree with a relief angle on the back side of 4 degrees. I'm gonna mark it here, 4 degrees. So first I'm gonna cut off these two corners here. This will disappear with a little cut-off disc. I'm gonna take one. This is a brand new cut-off disc, 1 millimeter thickness. When you use this one, it's always wobbling a bit. It's a bit flexible. That's why first I'm gonna use an old one. I always keep them for this kind of cut-off things. This one is more static, will work better. So first cut off these two corners, and then with the grinding disc maybe do the final touch. Let's see if it works. This high-speed steel is filling up this cutting edge of this disc, and then it doesn't cut anymore, it only rubs, and you can see that it takes lots of heat. Let's try something else. What I did, when the disc doesn't cut anymore, I take another one and I rub a bit the cutting edge to clean it up. and then it cuts again. This is now the second little disc I put on it. The first one was completely eaten. This part of the machine is gonna touch the jaws. So there's only one solution. This turn the chuck here if it wants to, because the container is touching 180 degrees, and cut that way again 30 degrees but upside down. I did put another disc on and I think it works really well. It's a slow process but it works. This is the finish I get. I'm gonna move a bit in the light so you can see better. And of course when I flip the part around, I had a visit of Bozo. I set my 4 degrees, but in the wrong direction. 4 degrees like this should have been like this. Shit happens. So that's why here there's this line. So I'm gonna take off way more than officially planned. I put the top slide at 4 degrees to create the face of the cutting tool. So we're gonna have a little bit a back rake of 4 degrees and no side rake. There will be, of course, a little bit a side rake because of the roundness of the disc. Let's see how that goes. This is the result. I'm gonna turn it a bit in the light, hope you can see. So, now that I've finished this cutting tool, let's find out if it actually cuts. You never know. We're gonna try it in the shaper. Seems to work fine, making nice little chips. Clean it up a bit. Good. It works. Conclusion. The system could work if I have the right cutting discs or grinding disc. It might work. For the moment it's a bit, it works, but you know, when cutting off these two corners here, these two pieces, it creates lots of heat because you don't have really control of the rubbing action that's having place. So I dialed in, came back, put a little bit coolant on with my brush, and then came in again and out, and it takes a long time. It works, but it takes a long time. So I think for winning time to make quickly a little cutting tool, it's not a good idea. It doesn't work. What could be useful is you rough it out on the belt sander and then go to the lathe and do this precision corners like form tools. This one could be, for example, a thread cutting tool for the lathe. You have exactly perfectly 60-degree angle, no problem, but takes a long time. Point 2 is, now I have to clean all my machine take the chuck apart, because all this grinding dust and high-speed steel dust and the machine, I don't think they're good friends. You still there?